What's up, guys? It's Breyer Gal. I'm here with my friend Liz.
Hey, guys.
And today we have a very exciting video announcement. We are officially both going to Breyerfest 2025 in July. We're very excited. This is Liz's second Breyerfest, and this is, I don't know, like my fourth or something like that. So yeah, we're going to do our annual review where we give our first impressions of all of the horses. But before that, we wanted to quickly kind of talk about the theme in general and our thoughts. The theme is Cheers to 75 Years, which basically means we have no idea what the theme really is. It's kind of, I guess it's going to be something like celebrating all of the years of Breyer and like horses through the years. So that could be interesting. What do you think of this theme, Liz?
I don't know, like, I feel like the way you phrased it, I can see it more as a theme now, but at first when they announced it, I was like, well, that's more of like a celebration. Like, it's not a theme. Like, I feel like last year, like, Girls Run the World, like, that had more of a theme and a style that you were looking for in the horses. But I feel like the way that you just phrased that, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I can kind of see how that could be a theme.
Yeah.
Am I super excited about it? I guess we'll find out.
Well, and as you'll see as we get to these models being reviewed, I feel like the problem with this theme is, like, one, I feel like we've done a lot of this before. Like, the Breyerfest, they had the Silver Jubilee, like, a while ago. And I don't know, I just feel like this theme, it doesn't really, like, connect very well, like
the models.
Yeah, like,
I
just feel like it doesn't really, like, have a cohesive, like, vision, and I feel like, I don't know, it's not my favorite theme, but I still think that there are some good horses in this lineup, so we're excited to give our thoughts and opinions about which ones we're potentially gonna bring home.
Yeah, and we're excited to hear yours, so leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments as well.
Yes.
Okay, so first up, we are taking a look at the Celebration model, and this year, the Celebration model is tight lines in the cigar mold, and to be honest, like, he's kind of mid. I feel like I don't usually get very excited about the Celebration horse because I feel like they just don't put a ton of effort into them. Like, they kind of just look like, you know, something you'd find at the toy store, like, you know, the regular runs. And so, I don't know, I'm not very excited about him. I also feel like the way that he's done, like, his mane and tail, the what is that called? Like, this, it's not spray paint, the airbrushing. Yeah, the airbrushing, I feel like is going to be very hit or miss if you get a good mane or tail or not. And I'm just not a fan of that style, like how they try and blend it. I feel like it can often end up on their neck or, like, you know, just, I don't know. It kind of is more of a sloppy job to me, and, like, not to, like, be mean or, like, criticize super bad, but it's just not my favorite. And then other than that, he just, you know, has some spackling, you know, very light spackling throughout his body, and I don't know, I feel like I'm just not that excited about him.
Yeah, I would say he's a pretty standard Celebration horse. He definitely doesn't have, like, that wow factor. I do like the flea bitten gray color. I feel like that's a color that Breyer doesn't use very much. I'm happy that he's not just, like, a solid white, because we have, like, some of that detail.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I kind of agree with this, like, airbrushing thing. For him, I don't mind as much because he's a gray horse, but we're gonna see, like, some other models where I think it's really distracting. I don't know why so many of the special run models have this kind of, like, spray painted thing.
Like, fading.
Yeah, it's almost like a shortcut done by Breyer, I think, to kind of really mass produce these. He looks like a fun, like, play horse. Like, if I was a kid, I probably would really like this horse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because he's in, like, this dramatic, like, racing pose, which is really cool. I also like the fact that he has a blanket. I think that is super cute. I like how now we're starting to get horses that have, like, little accessories and stuff. So I'm not a big fan of the cigar mold because I like to show my models. And this model, especially, like, his front leg there, as you can see, is, like, just really awkward and, like, not anatomically correct. So I don't think he would be a horse I would show, but I do end up keeping all of my Celebration horses because I like to have one for every year that I went to Breyerfest. And as the Celebration horse, definitely will be getting him because he comes with a ticket, but I don't really feel strongly towards him one way or the other.
I do feel like there are prettier models in this mold. Like,
for sure.
You know, so I don't know.
I feel like one thing to say, though, is just because it is a Celebration model doesn't mean that you don't have to try Breyer. Like, last year with Athenian Lady, she was actually, like, a really gorgeous horse that, you know, you can show. So I wish that they had gone with something a little more sophisticated, but he's not the worst one I've seen.
what would you say is the worst one you've seen?
Oh, Brewer 54 from 2023. Oh, he was just on this chunky Trankenheimer mold. Awful. I prefer him to that, but yeah, this is probably not the best.
He's probably second on that list at the bottom.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the event stablemates. This is the Break Out the Bubbles 4-pack. Overall, I actually really like these 4. I think they're super cute. They're a huge improvement from last year. I think they're all based off like celebration drinks, which I do think is actually really cute and on theme. I like the packaging. It's really bright and colorful. And I honestly feel like they did a really solid job picking molds that are popular but not overused, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to talk about is, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Bellini. So it says that he's a resculpt of the Thoroughbred mold by Kathleen Moody, and he is a polo pony. This is probably my least favorite of the 4. I'm not a huge Leopard Appaloosa fan, and I am kind of partial to crazy manes and tails. And so I think that this guy, because he has that classic polo pony, like, shaved head look, is not really my thing, and I'm not super big on the, like, airbrushing kind of thing. But if this was, like, given to me, or if I bought the pack, I think I would still be cool with him. He's just not one that I would probably seek after on my own. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with everything you said. I do think the shading on his front legs is kind of odd. I don't know if that's actually how that breed, like, I don't know if that's natural for that breed, but, like, at least just looking at the model, it doesn't look natural. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's just very, like, it's weird that it doesn't go around his whole, or her whole leg, you know? So, I don't know. All right, the next one is Mimosa, and this one is actually like a shrunken version of a traditional model, I believe. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's the Indian pony mold.
Oh, yes. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cute. The coloring is fun and nice, and I like it. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I've always liked this mold. I think it's really endearing. I do think when they shrink down some of these bigger molds, sometimes you lose a little bit of the detail, and I think that did happen with this a little bit. Something looks slightly, like, off in the molding to me for some reason, like the eyes maybe are just too small. I do really like the color. I think the color is so cute. I'm a huge fan of Palomino Pintos, and I feel like Breyer just never does that color combo.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a cute one that I wouldn't mind adding to my collection. So the third stablemate, okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this. Everyone's going to laugh at me. I think it's Kava or Kava. I'm not sure. Kava sounds cooler, so I'm going to say that. He is done on this absolutely gorgeous glossy bay with these dapples. I actually really love this guy. He's one that I think that I would, even as a non-stablemate collector, I think that I would hunt down because he has this lovely, rich kind of color to him. And of course, I love a flowing mane and tail. I think that he would also show pretty well, so he's definitely one I think is probably going to be on my looking for list.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a gorgeous one. And honestly, like, I know the breed is different, but he kind of looks like a mini bolero in a different position.
Yeah, he kind of does.
I love the dapples the most. I think I've mentioned that many times that I just love dapples, but he's a very fun little guy. I would love to get him. So the last one we're going to talk about in this little stablemate collection is Prosecco. We all love a Prosecco at the end of the day. I'm just kidding. Anyways, this little guy is cute and chunky, and I'm just grateful that he's not a solid black one. The hooves are actually not black, which I love that they did that, and then he also has kind of like, what would you say, like Appaloosa markings, kind of?
Yeah, like a little Appaloosa.
And so he's got like those little white Appaloosa spots on the back of his rear, and I think he's just kind of a cute little chunky guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this one. This is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Oh, really?
Not every single horse, but out of the stablemates for sure. This mold is incredibly detailed and so dynamic. It's on that new Premier Club mold. I forget what it's called. Oh, the Playful Draft Stallion mold. It's really, really nice. This is a really great example of just because it's a stablemate doesn't mean you need to like lose that detail. The coloring is fantastic on him. He's this rich, glossy black, and it's not just like a plain Appaloosa, it's a snowflake Appaloosa where it has like those little extra details, and I love how each little mark on him is like individually etched, and even his like hooves, they're not just like a basic one shade. There's like shading there, there's a stripe. This is one that I'm definitely gonna get. I usually get a ticket, a single day or whatever, like general admissions ticket for my dad, so this is one that I definitely am gonna pick up, and I think that he's gonna be a great addition to my show string. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about our special run and limited editions. We're starting off with probably the most lamest title ever, Get This Party Started. I don't really like the name. I feel like the theme is just kind of an afterthought with a lot of these horses. Like, they just kind of put a random, like, vaguely related party title, and they're like, this is the theme. But, you know, at the end of the day, the theme's not as important as the actual horses. I have mixed feelings about this particular horse. It's on the Connemara Mare mold, which I do love. I think it's a gorgeous mold. Very dynamic. The tail in particular is one of my favorites. It has this like beautiful S shaped. It's got this like really playful, gorgeous sculpt. And if you zoom in or if you like really look at this model, like even the lips down to that detail is just like, the sculpt is just perfection. It's a mold that shows well, which I really like. Now, traditionally, I'm not a huge fan of black and white pintos by Breyer because I feel like they just don't have a lot of detail. But this one actually, I feel like does have a good amount of detail. Like they have really sharp, crisp lines over most of the little spots. And I like the way that the pattern is done. They also have like some nice pink shading on like the mouth and the legs. So it's not just like a stark white. The one thing that I cannot stand about this horse that I hate so much is that freaking airbrush that we were talking about that's like right smack dab in the middle of the mane. It just looks so out of place and it looks so like cheap and lazy, and I feel like it just gives the model a sloppy appearance. Like if he had just had a solid black or solid white mane or just like an etched mane the same way that his spots are or her spots are, I would have loved this model and had to have it. But that one little thing, because it's like right in the middle of the horse, just kind of takes me out of it.
Well, and you know you're going to, like, get a version, if you were to get it, you're going to get a version that has, you know, the black spray, like, on the actual body and not on the mane. And so, yeah, that's definitely something that bothers me, too. To be honest, like, I agree with all your points. I think, you know, the spots have a lot of detailing, you know, everything else. I am just not a fan of this mold, and I am even more not a fan of the color combination. But for, you know, out of all the black and white pintos that, you know, Breyer has done, I do feel like this is one of the better ones, you know. So I think it's a great model. I think there's a lot of people that are really going to love this one, but I just don't think it's for me. I do like that the eye is not black. Yes. I will say that. It makes me really happy when, you know, they do a white horse or like a solid black horse and they do a different color eye that's not just black, because that drives me nuts when it's all just one whole, you know, color. Anyways, but yeah, not for me, but it's a great horse and a great model, and I think it's going to be a big hit at Breyerfest.
So we are taking a look at, I'm going to butcher this name.
Good luck.
Belzema Sapphire. We'll just call her Sapphire, okay? She's cute. She's giving, like, popular high school girl vibes. She kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, Sarah Monette, but, like, obviously a different breed and, like, you know, lighter. She's more of I feel like a kind of a dark chestnut. But she's cute. I feel like she kind of is in between that line of, like, she's not boring, but I'm not blown out of the water. But I'm excited about her. I love the shading that they added. I love that she's not just a solid brown, even though her mane and tail are brown. I love that there's, you know, shading throughout her body and her muscles. I feel like the mold is not like it, you know, it shows movement. It like is not just, I don't know. I feel like it's not, I feel like there was effort put into this, this one at least. And yeah, she's way cute. I would definitely consider getting her. I love the little pink on the tip of her nose. I think that's so fun. But yeah, what do you think?
I really do love this Arabian mare mold. I feel like it's one of the most underused molds from Breyer. Like, we have S Just a Dream. We have like Oasis, and all the other ones, like they always do the Sarah Monet version, like you were saying, where their head is like down. I like that her head is up because I feel like you can see the face more and the expression, and that's really cool to me. I do like the color, like Liz was saying. I like the dynamic shading. The one thing that like kind of turns me off about this horse is the fact that her mane and tail are the exact same color as her body. I feel like it kind of just makes everything blend together. I wish they had done the mane and tail like maybe a couple shades darker. I think that I probably will end up getting this horse. Now, she is a limited edition, and we all know every year I say I'm going to get the limited editions. I never do because I don't want to stand in line at the Breyer store. However, this year at Breyerfest, we are planning on staying an extra day.
So we should have time in theory.
So if I don't spend all my money at the Clarion, I will.
Which is highly likely.
Yeah, highly likely. I would consider holding a spot for her because she is really cute. I don't know how she would do in the show ring because Arabians tend to be kind of a competitive class, but I think...
But there aren't as many Arabian molds. And
that's true.
If you go to shows where they split mare and stallions, then you have even a better chance.
That's a good point. I don't know. I feel like if this was 2014 and I was making a Breyerfest movie series, though, she would be my lead girl.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
she would be the Sharpay Evans.
Yeah, she definitely has that vibe. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So now I'm going to be introducing Let the Good Times Roll. He is a special run model on the Cantering Warm Blood mold. Okay, again, mixed thoughts. I feel like every single year, Breyer decides, you know what, we're going to do a crazy Appaloosa for one of our special runs. Last year, it was that Warm Blood Sorry Not Sorry. And this year, this seems to be kind of their big out there color-wise model, which I can respect. I appreciate the fact that they're willing to take risks because, you know, Breyerfest special runs are the time to try something different, not something cookie cutter, something that maybe won't sell crazy well in the mainstream and, you know, just to give it a chance. And I do like this kind of color combination of the black and the buckskin. I think there's some good shading going on where the spots aren't just all this one gross uniform color, which I really like. Something about the spots, the way that they're just kind of like chunky.
Overlapping. Yeah,
overlapping. They don't really have like hard edges, which for me, that's something that I really like, a nice like etched kind of outline like we saw with the first special run. This one, they're kind of like gloppy and it almost looks like someone took like a bunch of paint and just kind of like looped them all together, which aesthetically is just not my thing. Also, again, as somebody who shows horses, I don't know how this mold would do in halter. Maybe for performance, he would really stand out. If I were to get him, he would probably be more of a shelf model. He's kind of a horse, maybe like if I saw a good deal on him, I would consider getting just because he is so unique, but I don't think he would be my first choice.
Yeah, so I truly don't know how to feel about him. Like, I really want to like him, and I feel like I said that about Sorry Not Sorry, and then I ended up getting him at Breyerfest last year, and I love him. So part of me's like, maybe I should just get him. What if he looks better in person?
That's
true. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I'm kind of into the funky ones though. I feel like so. I might get him. We'll see. I do feel like I would be nervous to show him because it would be really hard to make.
Oh yeah,
documentation.
A breed for that? What?
Oh yeah.
Especially with that weird face marking.
Does it tell you what breed he is, or is he just one?
Yeah, I don't think they give you breeds. I think they're like, good luck.
Yeah. So yeah, the fact that he doesn't even have a, specific horse that he's like modeled after, like that would make me really nervous too. But I do love that he's glossy, especially. Mm-hmm. I will say that I feel like he fits with the theme. Like, he looks like confetti.
Oh, that's a good... Okay, actually, that's cute. I like that.
He looks like gold confetti. You're celebrating on New Year's. Like, he looks like a New Year's horse to me. And that's what he reminds me of. So I do feel like he very much fits with the theme. He kind of looks like he's dancing. I think he's fun. He's spunky.
Okay, so moving on to our limited editions again, we're going to talk about Halcyon and Nightlife, I believe is his name. This guy is super cute. I really, really like him. I adore this mold. It's on that new kind of Welsh pony cob mold, I think. Very incredibly wavy mane and tail, which I love. He looks like he's in mid-action pose, which I think is awesome. The feathers even have this adorable like movement to them. It looks like he's like running through a field. Gorgeous. Something else that I love about this horse are his eyes. He has one that's like a brown eye, and the other is like split between brown and blue. I know he's based after a real horse, and I don't know if the real horse has that, but if he does, that's freaking cool. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I don't think Breyer's ever done that.
Yeah, so that's like super unique. I also love the fact that even though he is just a solid black model, he has dapples. Like they're very, I don't know if you can see that, they're very subtle, but they're there.
Wow.
I think that if I found one that had like really nice dapples, I think this guy would be an excellent show horse, especially for performance or something. So again, he is another reason for me to go to the Ninja Pit of Death and maybe wait in line because I really like him. I think he's super cute.
Yeah, I've said it before, I do not like solid black horses, and I would consider him pretty much a solid black horse. Mm-hmm. You know, I know he's got a stripe and some socks, but this mold is one, I really like this mold. It's very detailed, kind of like you were saying with the feathers. I think they're so cute, and I love that the eyes, again, aren't just a solid black. You know, they have color to them and even different colors, and then, yeah, he's just adorable, and the horse in real life is so pretty. This is definitely in a running of one of the horses I would like to get at Breyerfest. Like, I think he's up there with the ones I want to get. All right, so we are going to take a look at Good Times and Great Friends, and this is a Mare foal set. I think it's a new mold, isn't it?
Yeah, it's from the new Tiger Lily Firestorm whatever mold.
Yeah, super cute. I love her mane, how it's like wavy. I'm not sure, is the breed just Mustang? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that it's wavy. I think it's so cute. I feel like I really haven't seen any other foal that's in a rearing position, so I really love that. I love the Palomino and like dark bay chestnut like combination. I think that's beautiful together. I love that they're glossy. I really like it. I feel like last year they did an amazing Mare foal set, and this year they're coming back with another great Mare foal set. And unfortunately, I did not get the one from last year, but I think I am going to try and get these two this year. I think they're super cute and fun, and I love that he has little gray hooves too. He is just so cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is by far my favorite models from this year's Breyerfest. I think they are stunning. Of course, they are glossy, which is my favorite. We all know I'm a glossy fiend.
Which is our preferred.
Yes. I have a horrible sinking feeling, though, that some of them might be matte, because Breyer, every year, they like to do a matte glossy split, and I think one of these models that we're seeing done in gloss is going to be split.
That's true.
And I freaking hope it's not them, because I will riot. Because they are perfect the way they are. The foal in particular is stunning. I think he honestly might be one of my favorite models, like, ever.
Of a foal?
Yeah. No, just, like, in general. Because his color is stunning. I've never seen this kind of Palomino dun color that has, like, this red-gray thing. And he has this gorgeous pose.
I wonder, does he have dapples or no?
I think maybe. I'm not sure, but
I would be interested to see that.
Yeah, his shading is phenomenal. He's going to show amazing, and he's going to look great on the shelf.
Yeah.
He is kind of vertical, which might make him hard to go on your shelf, but you know.
He looks like a baby cloud.
He does. Yeah, he looks really sophisticated. Like, this looks like a proper horse. It doesn't look like a toy or a playline thing. The Mare, I do really like the Mare. She's not as stunning as the foal. The red, she's a little bit too red for me. I would have preferred more of a solid bay color, but she's still a gorgeous horse that I would like to add. She has great dapples, great shading. I love that mane and tail. I think she'd be a good addition to any collection. So this is definitely for sure going to be the horses that I put on my special run preference ticket. All right, so after that too good to be true moment, we are now plunging back into the deep depths of Breyer hell, and we are talking about quite possibly one of the most heinous, hideous, ugly models I have ever seen. What was his name again? Game Day Surprise?
Oh, I was not going to call him that.
Okay, I don't know. Whatever his name is, that's him. He is awful. The eye is not even, doesn't even look like it's lined up properly. I don't know what Breyer was thinking with this. And the sad thing is, I think that this horse is literally based off of, a real horse. And I'm going to be honest, if I had my beloved pet turned into this model as a portrait horse. I'd be so mad.
It's a disgrace.
He just looks awful. The pose looks like he's constipated. Okay, I know he's like a reining horse. It just looks clunky. It looks awkward. The face looks totally out of proportion. It's way too long. He looks like a massive turd, to be honest, with this color.
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
this flat, ugly bay. And let's not even talk about this heinous costume. He looks like he's wearing a lampshade. Like, you look at this gorgeous reference picture. He's got this gold, the blue, the tassels, and then
He's shining.
It's awful.
In the actual picture.
Heinous, horrendous. Liz, thoughts?
So, okay, we just looked at a couple models, actually, that have detailing of muscles. I feel like the detailing of the muscles could have been displayed in this position and mold so much better. Like, they could have carved a lot more like, I don't know. I just feel like this is
not defined.
A poor job.
Yeah.
And, like, especially, I don't know why the back hooves bother me, because they're not even, like, sharp. They look like they're soft. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. They just look weird. I feel like the muscles look kind of weird. I wish there was more definition to them. I feel like they could have had a lot of opportunity for that and a lot of opportunity for, like, shading and stuff, especially where he's a dark color. You can incorporate more, you know, like, dark browns and stuff. But, yeah, and again, the eyes, he looks like he's straining. Like
I said, he looks like he's, like, on the toilet trying to take a poop.
Oh, my God.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to say that, but I was thinking that.
Yeah, so I feel like the actual horse looks beautiful. I feel like this could have been, I know that there's been a lot of glossy models, but I feel like had they done his sculpting a lot more detailed, more muscles, more shading, they could have added some gloss in there and he would have been beautiful, and I feel like it would have done it more justice, because if you look at the real horse, like, his coat is shiny. Like, so I just feel like, you know, I know that there's a lot of glossy models, and I know that that's not some of, you know, everyone's favorite or, like, cup of tea, but I feel like this would have been a good opportunity for that. And I don't know, even the mane, I feel like we've seen better, you know. I feel like it reminds me of a very old, like, 1990s Breyer horse.
Yeah, I think it is an older mold.
And I don't know if this is something, like, a mold they have reused, and so that's what it's being, you know, like, done after, but I'm not a fan. Okay, so we are looking at To the Ties Who Bind Us, and I'm not sure what the mold is, but it looks very familiar.
Yeah, it's called the silver mold. I think it's from, like, the 90s or early 2000s.
Okay, I actually am a fan of this one. I like the mold a lot. I think the mane is pretty, and, you know, the tail is there to help balance, it looks like. Yeah. But it's not as bad as the one we just looked at, so I'm happy with it. I feel like the pattern that they've done on it, I don't know if there's, like, a story behind it or something, but I feel like they just released 2 other regular ones that have the same exact thing, and so I'm kind of like, I wish that they did something different. But I do love the color, actually. I think it's so pretty. It kind of reminds me of, like, China almost.
Yeah.
Like, the color of, like, you know, the edges of, like, China plates or something is kind of what it reminds me of. And it also kind of reminds me of, like, a My Little Pony at the same time. It's cute. I don't know. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm typically not a huge decorator person. However, this mold is a gorgeous mold. It is an iconic Breyer mold for a reason. Many people love it. I don't actually own any horses on this mold, so I could see myself being interested in this one. I like even though the fact that he is an unrealistic color such as blue, they still colored him the same way a real horse would be, in that sense that he has shading, he has, like, definition and stuff. So it's quite literally, like, if horses came in blue, they might look something like this. So the story behind, I think, what Liz is talking about was his, like, Appaloosa things. They're actually Breyer horse molds. They're different molds that Breyer's done over the year. And so I do think that is kind of a cool tie-in to the theme of, like, Breyer throughout the year. I do agree with what she said, though, that we have seen Breyer release this with their regular runs. So I wish that maybe they just hadn't done it with their regular runs, so it might have been a more unique and special thing. Because it does feel like they kind of made one design and then they slapped it on a bunch of different horses, which kind of takes away, I think, from the novelty and uniqueness of the idea.
Yeah. I have one more thing I do want to add. I feel like we're going to see a lot of variation in the detailing on that back part. I feel like even in the picture you can see, like, some of the horses' tails, like, kind of fade, or the lines aren't as sharp, and so I would be a little bit worried about that if this is a mold that you want to get. I'm not quite sure if it's one that I will want to get, but as far as decorators goes, I don't hate it. But yeah, that is one thing I would be a little concerned about, or like maybe some overpainting in some areas.
So we have another limited edition. I feel like we have a lot of limited editions this year. Maybe it's the same amount. I don't know. So this, I believe his name is Bo. His full name is Bow and Arrow. The name is very cute. The real horse is adorable. This mold, I do feel like this Cleveland Bay mold is overused by Breyer. They use it a lot. It's a great mold, don't get me wrong. It does amazing in shows. This color combo, I do like the Pinto Chestnut. I think it's cute. The thing that I just can't get over with it is the mane. I don't like the spray painted mane. I think the tail ombre is gorgeous. They should have really kept that with the mane. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier about the problem this year with all of these spray painted manes. It looks cheap. It looks like they were cutting corners and they were just trying to, pump out these horses really fast. And I think, unfortunately, that detail alone would be enough from getting me to get this horse, because I just feel like it's distracting and it's too busy.
Yeah, and I feel like if you look at the real horse, like, honestly, his mane is mostly, that kind of chestnut color. There's a little bit of white in there, but not quite as much as is on the actual model. They kind of make it look like stripes. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like that's not quite that accurate. I feel like I have PTSD from this model because I got Griffin and his ears were warped very weird, and I just feel like I'm probably not ever going to get another one in this mold. I wish that, kind of like what you were saying, that the mane was kind of the same as the tail, because honestly the body is beautiful. Like, the horse's body is gorgeous. I love all the detailing. I think it's beautiful and it's accurate, and then you just have the mane.
Yeah.
It's just really out there. I'm not a fan. I probably am not gonna get this one. I'm also curious, like, not last year, but the year before, when they had all those drafts come out, did they have another one in this mold that came out?
So they're all the same mold, yes, but they were different colors. Well, it does feel like the pattern of the Pinto Overo kind of spots, they do feel very similar.
I just, like, if they had released, like, this mold 2 years ago in Breyerfest, I wish that they hadn't done it this year.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely think it's a bit overused.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so next up we have the special run YOLO. Hate the name. I feel like it's just they literally were like, guys, we can't think of a name. YOLO. So they tried to connect this horse to the Ponies and Palm Trees event, and my issue with that is I don't understand why they didn't just do a polo pony. Like, you literally could have just done the Secretariat mold, and there's, like, a horse that could be perfect polo pony. I know that this is a very popular mold. It is just not personally my favorite. It's just weird, because I usually like these dynamic molds that have a lot of movement in them, but I don't know, something about it just looks kind of chunky to me, kind of disproportionate. He has dapples, but the dapples for me are just a little bit too intense. I think there's just a lot going on, and I don't think the shading is rich enough to compensate the fact that he's kind of pale and the fact that his mane and tail are too similar to his body. I do like how it gets darker near his feathers, and I do love gray horses. So I could see him being popular, but personally, I don't think he's on my list.
I would have to agree with most of that. I do think he's very pretty, and I do love the shading around his feathers. I think that is the pop of color you kind of needed with this mold. Mm-hmm. I do love gray horses, so I'm not going to lie. Like, I do like him. Mm-hmm. However, I feel like, out of some of the gray horses I have and the other ones I've seen, I feel like he is probably more towards the bottom of my list as far as, like, how much I like him. Like, I feel like there are prettier ones out there. Mm-hmm. I feel like I already kind of have something like him, and I do have quite a lot of gray horses in my collection, so where he's not, like, stunning, mm-hmm. I probably won't be getting him, just because I already do have quite a lot that are very similar to him, and I don't feel like I'm getting that wow factor from him, but I do think he's gorgeous. I think he's gonna be a lot of people's favorites. I can see a lot of people getting him. And I think he would actually show pretty well. Mm.
So now on to the most mysterious special run. It is the Seize the Day surprise. Now, we have no idea what this is going to be. We're going to speculate a little bit. I already know that I'm getting this one because, for me, getting a surprise horse is an iconic piece of Breyerfest experience, and you just have to do it. I might potentially be getting 2 of these if I get 2 tickets. I'm leaning more to just get the one based off the models we've seen. But yeah, I'm super curious. Based on recent trends, my theory with Breyerfest is that they're going to probably have this be on a Premier Club mold. Now, we know that it's probably not going to be one that is already a Breyerfest special or limited edition. So it's not going to be on the Connemara mold. It's probably not going to be like Emerson or one that they've done recently. And I don't think it's going to be Bristol because they've done that. So that leaves a couple. I could see them using maybe the Walking Thoroughbred mold or maybe some of the older Surprise Horse molds. Not Surprise Horse, but Premier Club molds. So I would pay attention to those because I think it's very likely it will be one of those.
I think you're probably right. I'm just excited to see what it is or what color variations or like glossy, non-glossy. Like what are they going to do?
Yes.
I feel like last year we were definitely surprised. And so, and in a good way. And so I'm excited to see the one for this year.
Hats Up to You is the next one we are looking at, and he is an older model, very cute. I love the coloring. I love that he's got stripes and this beautiful little Appaloosa pattern, and of course, I don't know what the gear is called that he's wearing, but it is adorable, and there's a little fedora on his head, and just overall super cute. It's not my cup of tea, but it is very cute. I feel like there's a lot of detail in this horse, especially for it being an older vintage model, and yeah, I think this would be a great one to add to your collection if it's your thing.
Guys, I need this horse. He comes with a party hat. I just found this out and I literally like audibly screamed when Liz showed me. He's so freaking cute. Like adorable. I love this color. This like beautiful little buckskin color with the stripe. This is not a horse that you're going to get to show, okay? This is a shelf sitter, but I freaking love this mold. This is my favorite vintage mold. He's just like this cute little like lazy boy who just wants to sit there and eat treats. And those are my favorite kind of horses in real life. This is the one that tears me up inside because I want the Mare full set. I want the surprise. But I need this guy. If it's at the second chance sale, maybe. So all of y'all better not sell this out because I freaking need him. I love him. His name's going to be George. He's going to live at my house.
This is the sole reason Alexa is contemplating buying a second.
No, literally.
ticket.
This is the reason. Because I was like, maybe I can live without him. But then I saw the party hat and I'm like, he's mine. I have to have him. All right. So for our next special run, we have Future is Bright. He's on a new Premier Club mold. It's like a Spanish breed. I don't know the name of the mold. Sorry. Okay. I have thoughts on this horse. Mixed thoughts. I love that he's Palomino. Like I said, we need Palomino representation. Palomino is gorgeous. I love his eyes. He's got good shading. I love this new mane and tail combination where it's like majestic and flowing in the wind. Gorgeous. I don't like the mold. The front legs are like really long and awkward for me. And they just look weird. I don't know how he would show. Maybe this is how it's supposed to be. But the head, the face and the neck, gorgeous. The legs just look so disproportionate and awkward to me. And I also don't know how I feel about this really crazy, intense dappling. Like, he looks like a fish because he just has way too many dapples, in my opinion. But I'm curious what you think.
The shading? Yeah, my only critique with him, I actually really like this horse, and I think I will be getting him. Hopefully. I think he's great. And I also feel like his name really fits with his coloring. Like, Future is Bright. Like, I feel like the way that they shaded him, like, he looks bright. He looks like he's glowing. I would agree with the dappling. That was my only critique. I feel like because of... It's hard because I think the shading is great, but then at the same time, I feel like the dapples are, like, too intense. So I'm like... I don't know if there was a way for them to do that, like, less, though. I'm not sure. But I probably will be getting him. I guess, honestly, if I get him, I'll probably name him Goldfish. Standing Ovation is next, and this is Breyerfest's annual, like, clear glass model that they do every year, and I believe this is the Saddlebred Stallion mold, and I honestly like this mold. I think it's fun. I usually don't ever get the glass one, but I think it is beautiful. Yeah.
I kind of feel like a certain way about, like, these glass horses. Like, I feel like once you have one, you kind of have all of them. Like, I don't know. They're cool. My boyfriend really likes them. They're not necessarily my cup of tea. Although I really do like the original Breyer, I think it has, again, that classic problem where the detail in the smaller version is just kind of lacking. Because it's glass, they weren't able to really get a lot of the spaces between, like, the tail and the hair and stuff. And something about the eyes looks a little, like, cartoony to me. So I don't think this is my particular favorite crystal replication. I do think that he would look really pretty on someone's shelf, though.
But now we're going to take a look at our second set of stablemates, and these are the limited edition Best of Breyerfest set. And we're going to look at Revelry first, and I feel like kind of mid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. I feel like I've seen it before, and yeah. The ears are kind of stubby and short to me.
Yeah.
I will say that. But otherwise, I feel like, it looks decent.
Yeah, I feel like this one suffers from the same issue as the Indian pony, where they took a bigger mold of Big Checks to Cash and they tried to shrink it down. And in the process, we lost a lot of detail, like the ears and the feet. Like the feet, that's something I noticed about these ones that they shrink down, is the feet are always too small. And so I don't know what happened with that. I do know that this mold does tend to show well, which is a plus. And I like the fact that it has decent shading, and also that there's kind of like these speckles under the color. I think it gives it an extra layer of dimension that is really cool and unique. So the next little stablemate is called Hullabaloo, and he is on this warm blood mold, and he is a Palomino with this little tiny like white detail, I'm guessing. I really like this one. I'm a big fan of this mold. I think this mold shows well. I think that he has some really nice details. His hooves are striped. He has very crisp, clear markings and dapples. So I think I really like the attention to detail on this guy. It's the level of quality that I would expect from a Breyerfest special run. I don't know exactly if I'm going to seek this one out, but if there's a good opportunity to get him, I probably would consider getting him.
Yeah, I really love the mold too. I love the position the neck is in. I don't know why, I just love when horses have that arch in their neck. I think it's beautiful. I also really love the mane. I feel like that's like just the way that they like did the lines to show, I don't know, just how the mane is laying. I just love, and I feel like we don't see that a lot. I do feel like the ears look kind of weird to me. They kind of look a little long, and I don't know if it's just the picture, or the angle or something, or it's just because I'm viewing him from the side. I hope they're not that long, but they do look kind of like rabbit ears, and that stresses me out just a little bit. But otherwise, I think super cute. So Jubilation is next, and to be honest, like, I feel like a lot of people probably really think he's cute and they like him, but I just feel like he's a little too busy for me, with the, I don't know, is that like pinto coloring pattern and the dapples. I just feel like it's just a little, and then the white is kind of more of a shiny.
It's like pearly.
Yeah, it's like a pearly white. I just feel like there's a lot going on, and it's a little too distracting for me in particular. I do like the pink on his nose. I think that's pretty cute, but otherwise, like, the mold is pretty cute mold. But yeah, I just feel like it's a little too much for such a small model.
Yeah, I would agree with that to a certain extent. I think the pearly was not the best choice. He would have looked amazing in gloss, or even I would have been fine with just a plain matte. I love the detail of that the white is not just plain white. Even on the tail, there's a little bit of brown or pink to it. I think it gives the model an extra layer of dimension. The mold is really cute, really anatomically correct. I think this would be a great show horse. I actually do like the dappling inside the little pinto. I think it's just the combination of the pearly and the pinto and all of these things going on at the same time that might be a bit off-putting. But, again, this is not one I would necessarily seek out, but I would find him if he was at, like, a good price. All right, so the next little one we're talking about is Soray. It's on, I believe, this kind of, like, Mustang Mare mold. Not a huge fan of this one. I feel like there's a very harsh transition between the color of the butt to the rest of the body. It's a bit off-putting, and also it's got these weird kind of like smudgy dapples, and then also like these like lines. I don't know how accurate that is to the real horses. You also have this clash of like a tan kind of tail and then like this bright white head. I just don't feel like the colors work. And the mold looks a little bit like lumpy to me. I know I've seen this mold in person, and I know it's cute, and I don't know if it's just like the picture, the way they styled it. I do like the mold better on the other side, but I don't think this is one that I would seek out personally.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm just not a fan of this one. The colors just aren't working for me. It looks like this horse was originally painted brown and then they spray painted the white over it and they just like kind of did less whites, like airbrushing in certain areas like the neck and the stomach, and you can like see it through it, and I'm not loving it. I think the legs look weird too. There's like striping, but then there's also like this spackling over it as well. And I'm not sure if this is modeled after a real horse, but I have to hope that the real horse would look better than this. I don't know. It looks very strange. I'm just not a fan. This is not one I would ever want to get. I'm not even sure what you would call the coloring. Yeah, I'm not a fan. So our last one is Red Letter Day, and it's cute. It's not one that I don't really collect a whole lot of stablemates, so I have to be blown away to really get a stablemate, but this is not one that blows me away. I do feel like, with this model being shrunken down, we do also lose detail, unfortunately. Not necessarily in the muscles, but kind of in the mane and tail, I feel like. But otherwise, like, I guess it's kind of cute. The dappling is fun. The colors all work together and they're nice and cohesive. And I feel like they did a good job blending the colors of the mane. But yeah, I'm not blown away, so I probably won't seek this one out, but it is very cute.
Yeah, this one is just kind of to me. I mean, I feel like I'm not a big fan of this overall color. It feels like it's almost like pale or like sickly for some reason. I prefer horses that are more rich and dark in color. Honestly, if it weren't for the dapples, I could see this just being like a regular run play set stablemate. This mold is also very overused in my opinion. I feel like they constantly are just recycling this over and over again. So I definitely don't think this is one that I would want either. Our final one we're going to talk about is Party Pal, the plush. He's cute. Hot take. The Breyerfest mascot kind of scares me. The fact that there's probably like a full-grown man just underneath this pony suit kind of creeps me out. Like, that makes me...
All mascots in general.
Mascots are just weird to me. I'm sorry, but also the eye on this, the fact that it's vertical is kind of weird. Like, it looks like a window. Like, I feel like they could have just done, like, a smaller eye. But, I don't know. I like the fact that it has a little hat and they can change the color. I like that it's sitting. I feel like that looks super cute. And if I was, like, 5 years old, I would love this.
Yeah, so I think this is creepy. And if you scroll down and look at the comments, I would agree with Ander. Yeah, he says this is low-key terrifying IDK. Crying emoji. And I would agree with you, Ander. I think that this is creepy. And I don't even think I would want this when I was 5. Honestly, like, I would rather have a more realistic looking plushie. I did have more realistic looking plushies, and I liked them better than this. I think even just a regular black stuffed animal eyeball would look better than what they put on there.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
All right, this is Alexa from the future. Basically, I realized once I left Liz's house that I forgot to do some horses with her, so you're just going to have to get my opinion for them. Sorry. So this is Hoopla. He is the limited edition online horse. My opinion, I love him. He's on the Bristol mold, which is gorgeous. We have this really nice, rich bay pinto with some dapples. Woohoo! This is actually one that I'm super interested in getting. I think that the color is very beautiful and has a really nice contrast. I am actually kind of thrown for a loop with this mold choice because I thought for sure that the surprise mold was going to be Bristol because it's a popular one, but now I don't think that, so I'm really curious to see what other molds they're going to do. For our final special run, I want to talk about the animal special run, which is this little, I think it's an Australian Shepherd. It's called Life's a Journey, and I think that this little guy is absolutely freaking adorable. I actually had never seen this Lassie mold before. I feel like Breyer hasn't used it, so I love it when they try something different and they don't just use the same animal mode over and over again. It's super cute.
this is one instance where I think the airbrush actually does work super well, because on the real dogs who have this kind of coat pattern, you can kind of see this nice blended look. I actually think it's like really well painted as well. Like there's some nice details on the mouth and the tongue and the teeth and everything. And I adore this little bandana the dog has. It is pretty expensive. I think it's like the same price as the other animals or special run models. So like, I don't know if I would spend $65 to $70 on this, but it definitely would be a super cute addition to your collection. So the final model that I'm going to be talking about is Shindig. He is the online stablemate limited edition this year. I think he's pretty cute. I am a huge fan of I can't say this name, George mold or whatever, Georg. Sorry, don't come for me. This is one time where I do think the shrinking works very well. I do think that I could see myself getting this one. I particularly would love to see him in gloss. I do wish that his color was a little bit darker. I like a more rich base color, as many of you know, but I still think he would be a great addition to somebody's collection.
Okay guys, those are all of our thoughts and opinions of the models. Feel free to debate us, call us out, say that our opinions are wrong.
Down in the comments.
Just give us your input as well. We'd love to see some of you guys at Breyerfest if that's something that you want to do. But yeah, things coming up. We are hopefully going to some live model horse shows, potentially in the spring, so look out for those videos. Also let us know what other videos. I really want to do some more unboxing videos, tutorials, that kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, overall thoughts about the models this year. Any final statements you have, Liz?
I feel like it's pretty split 50-50. I feel like there's a lot of good ones and there's some not so great ones.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's overall a really great balance. I feel like there also is a lot of variety. So people, like some people do prefer the older models and you know, no judgment there. I know we were kind of a little bit harsh with some of them, but seriously, no judgment. Like that is, some people solely collect the older models. So I feel like there's great variety. There's a lot of new models that they've incorporated. There's a lot of old ones. And then there's some overused ones. But I feel like those ones aren't as as much. Anyways, so I feel like overall, like we've got a good selection for this year.
Yeah. Well, like what you like. We don't all have to like the same things, but we're super excited about the horses this year, and we're excited that we get to go to Breyerfest. It's going to be
so excited,
freaking awesome.
We are already prepping. We're making some table guards.
Yes.
And tonight actually, and I'm sure we'll be making pony pouches and all this other stuff. So if you guys want to see videos on how to make those yourselves, you can also purchase them at Breyerfest if you just want to do that. But yeah, you can also make them, and that's what we're doing.
All right, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.